Good morning. It's Gary Sly and the Legacy of Handmade Objects. It's Monday, November the 18th of 2024. We're beginning to wind down the year. Next week is Thanksgiving, and then of course we know how it's kind of like a slippy slide towards Christmas and on into the new year. So we're entering into a very busy time of the year. Of course, I'm making it even more complicated this year by moving my shop to a new location. I'm in the very back of my old shop today because I wanted to look at some products that I have back here and talk a little bit about things that we could be doing as small gifts or even some larger things here for the holidays. And also as you're looking into the new year and there are new babies and things like that coming along in your families. These might give you some ideas. Most of these products are pretty old. They've been around a while. I have a sense that new stitchers might not have seen some of them because they're a little harder to find than they used to be. Charles Craft was one of the big companies that did these ready-to-stitch products, and they don't have as many as they used to. As far as I know, they're still in operation, but I've got a lot of fun stuff here in the shop, and I thought it would be just kind of fun for me to walk through some of this and talk about it. Specifically, as we start to think about the holidays, a nice little gift that you can stitch up and give as a housewarming gift or a Christmas party gift are these little hand towels. You can see that I've got a few here that I made back in the day. When I was an at-home dad for 7 years, I often did stitching like this just to keep myself busy and also to make a little extra money. So I've got a few of these still around. These stitch up pretty quickly, and how thrilled would a host be or a hostess if you bring something like this in as a gift. So there are all kinds of those sort of towels. A lot of these are old products from Charles Craft. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got kind of a checkerboard design. These have a strip of Ada in them, so you can put whatever decoration you want. There's some cows for cow lovers. This is a stamped cross-stitch towel with some birds and flowers. That would be quite nice. I like this one, kind of, if you know somebody that likes bird houses and birds, and it's got a strip. There really are a pretty endless selection of these. Here's a really elegant one, French market towels. They don't have an Ada strip on them, but if you don't mind doing small count, you could do some nice designs there. Really, there's a whole lot. Here's some really pretty stripes. Got various colors of these. These were made by the towel company, Canon, I believe. But you got a whole lot of different ideas there. You probably could take also dish towels that you buy in the store if you don't mind just stitching directly onto small count fabric, and that would work. So the tea towels are pretty much a good idea just about any time, but especially as you think about the holidays and visiting folks and doing things like that. If you're looking for gifts to give, something personal in nature, there are tons of patterns. Of course, you can make up your own stuff. You can put initials and names, or you can find small motifs in the stuff that you already have. But there are tons of books. I have a whole lot here. There are many of these baby bib design books, which I'll show you some bibs in a minute. Bands that you can put on hats or baskets. More bibs, but also other kind of designs that you can personalize for babies. We'll talk about that. There's a real pretty set of designs for the tea towels. Not necessarily holiday, but some really pretty florals. We'll look at some Afghans in a minute if you want a larger project. There's a real pretty one there. I have these little paperweights that you can stitch and put underneath the glass. They're really kind of cool little ideas. And of course there's a paperweight book, so you've got some designs you could use for that. Basket liners. I don't think I have any basket liners right now, but they tend to be pretty popular, and there are a bunch of books for those. There are many, many towel books, so I'm just showing you a couple, but there's one with a nautical kitchen theme. There's a bunch of Christmas books for those. And then the last idea that I picked up a book for was bookmarks. But you can really find books, especially if you're looking in vintage areas, to design just about anything you like. Belts, guitar straps, really the list goes on. Anything you can put a little bit of stitching on. Here's another one of those towels with a gardening theme, which is kind of cool. So not necessarily something you would do at Christmas time, but certainly would be an option. Now, I mentioned baby bibs a minute ago. This is a sample of one that I did quite a few years back. When my kids were small and I was at home, I did personalized baby bibs and sold them at a child consignment shop near where we lived in Norfolk, Virginia. The White Rabbit, if anybody remembers the White Rabbit. And there's a good number of bib options. They're these tiny little ones that you could do just a quick stitch on. The ones that I used a lot back in the day are the Charles Craft ones, which have a strip of Ada on them. And there's even a newer Charles Craft version, which has these cute little pastel elephants on the back. So there are different ideas for those. While I'm talking about babies, I also found these little baby booties, and you can stitch a design on the front of that, just something small. It gives you the design for a couple little bunny rabbits. You know, babies don't wear these very long, but they'd be wonderful little keepsakes too as a child grows older. So when you're thinking about new babies in the family, a little handmade gift might be a nice treat. Sometimes these become kind of heirlooms and legacies that are passed on. Another item that might be good but a little bit more involved would be something like a baby towel. And again, this has an Ada strip on it, so you can do some nice designs there. And of course, Afghan's larger works using hand cloth are kind of always good ideas. This is a piece of fabric that has little teddy bears on it, and then it has the Ada strip that you can do some personalizing on. I've used this a lot of times to do personalized Afghans for children or for families. They come in different colors. There's a really pretty purple one. Or you can stick with a more standard design like that. And again, there's some wonderful books with patterns. Some of these come with patterns inside. Some of them are just the plain old hand cloth. But if you're looking to design a custom Afghan or baby blanket or something like that, look for hand cloth. And you can buy it and edge it yourself, or you can get ones that are already put together nicely. I mentioned Christmas a bit ago. Here's a Zweigert Christmas tree skirt, and it's just a skirt. It's already sewed, already has fringe on it, and you can stitch a lot or a little depending on what you want. And it's pretty easy again to find these books and designs. I don't think this has any design in it, but there are plenty of those available. What else do we have? A little jewelry cosmetic kind of case that you can stitch on. They used to make a lot of these little patches. They iron on, or you can stitch them on quickly, and you can stitch on those. Pot holders. What a fun little idea. Put somebody's initials or something like that. The Ada cloth kind of sticks up, so it's not quite so hard to stitch on. Let's see, we've got some coffee mugs that you can stitch on, and the little cooler, cozy kind of things that you put your cans in. Those would be fun gifts. You know, sometimes when you're stitching, it's hard to think about gifts that would be appropriate for guys if they don't like some of this other kind of stuff. And things like this might work. I know some of you do your own canning and you give away jams and jellies. Look at these little jar tops that are made out of holiday fabric, and they've got a Ada on top. You could put a little peach there if you're doing peach jam or whatever it is. So those are kind of fun ideas. Another thing that I had here on the table, I haven't seen very many of these, so I'm not expecting these to be easy to find, but this is actually a pillow, and it's already stitched and put together, and it's got a little insert that you can stitch on. So again, that's not a bad idea. Let's see. I think that's probably pretty much what I have back here on this table. This table was stacked way high, and I decided to declutter a little bit. Well, I will say this. When you're looking for hand towels, they come in all kinds of wonderful colors, too. So, you know, something Christmassy would be nice. Or if you're looking for somebody who has blues in their bathroom, that kind of thing. Those would be cool. As I was saying, this table used to be stacked up, so I do have cases and cases of these Stitchables, but I found that I had so many on the table nobody could find anything. So I destashed a little bit, but I have a lot of these products. If you see anything here you're interested in and it's something that you want bad enough that you want me to ship it to you, I'm happy to do that. Or you can look around maybe in some of the shops near you and see if they have some of this stuff. I have a feeling a lot of the cross-stitch shops have gotten rid of many of these products because they're not easily available, and maybe they don't sell too well. So they might be a little harder to find than I would hope they would. Same thing with old patterns. You can probably buy those on Etsy, but I have whole bins of them back there. So you've got a lot of ideas. If you want to get in touch with me and you need something, I'd be happy to snoop around back there and see what I can find. I want to address one issue that I think people run into sometime, and that's when you spend time stitching a product and you give it to someone and they don't seem to appreciate it. One or two of my viewers mentioned that when they were commenting on a past video of mine. Couple things I would say to that. Some people really just don't have any understanding how much work goes into something like this, and don't get your feelings hurt too easily. If they're amenable to it, you might want to kind of explain what's involved. I know I did a stocking one time for a great niece, and her mom really had never seen me stitching before, and she had no idea that little stocking took hours and hours and hours of work, and that it was a very personal thing just for that child. And once I shared that with her, she was much more appreciative and now sees it as an heirloom that she will keep for that child and pass on down. So sometimes there's that. I know I have a friend who stitches here in the shop, and she said she did a lovely piece for a woman she worked with up in the DC area, and she went to a shower and she gave it to her, and the woman looked at it with kind of disdain and said, "Oh, that's homemade," and stuffed it in a corner somewhere and appeared not to appreciate it. And of course my friend Jenny said she wanted to snatch it out of her hand and take it back. You know, I guess one thing we could say is that you know, your gift is not diminished by their appreciation. The fact that you've given a gift and that you've taken pleasure in it is part of what happens. But maybe in some cases there's a little bit of education that needs to happen when we're sharing things with others. You know, I even have family members who will call me up and say, "Can you stitch something for me?" And they want it in 10 days. Not only am I busy in the shop and I have commission pieces and stuff like that, but sometimes what they're asking for could not be done in 10 days, even if I didn't have other things going on. And people who don't stitch and who don't make things with their hands in general don't have as much of an understanding of that. Clearly, when people appreciate it, it's much more fun to do a gift. You know, I know in the Weavers Guild that I'm part of, weavers love woven gifts from other weavers. And so I suspect, especially your stitching friends, would appreciate a hand stitched towel or something like that. And you know, there are all kinds of gift exchanges and things like that where people will clearly ooh and ah over the products that you do. So I hope that gives you a little bit of inspiration. Some of you older stitchers like me, you've probably seen these products in the past. I feel like a lot of younger stitchers maybe have never even seen these products, and so they don't have the same ideas. Now remember, you can take waste fabric and you can cross stitch on pretty much anything. You can put something on the sleeve of a jacket or a shirt or pretty much anything you want to do. Just keep in mind that if you put a lot of work into something and it's an item of clothing or an implement that won't last very long, that it may not be part of a legacy. It may just kind of be used and discarded at some point. And of course, we always hope, I think, that what we do will last for a while and that other people will appreciate it. So I'm going to go back to doing some work today. Mondays are my catch-up days and running around doing errands days, and these days I'm doing a lot of skipping back and forth between this shop and the new place and doing arranging and getting things going there. In about a month I'll be packing up here and moving things down the street, and I'll be doing some more broadcasts from there, and of course that's where my YouTube will originate as we get into 2025. So take some time during these hectic holiday weeks to enjoy the things that you love, the handmade crafts that you enjoy, and think about ways that you can share your passion and your love of stitching with others. As always, this is Gary Sly, and it's the Legacy of Handmade Objects.